The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada presents Healthy Mondays with AApina of Nevada. Start the week healthy and right with interesting conversations on living a healthy lifestyle. And now, your Healthy Mondays host, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong.
Aloha! Good evening! Magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. Naimbag Sardam, maayong gabi sa inyong tanan. I'm yours truly, Dr. Mary Faye Axon Armstrong, founding president of the Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada and professor in nursing at Rochman University of Health Sciences College of Nursing. So here we are again on a Monday night. I'm so happy that you joined us, and thank you so much for joining us every Monday for those our Suki, meaning that you always watch it every Monday. And here we are. We wanted you to be healthy. And so if you notice, this new year in January, we are really focusing on mental health. I know that we have brought to you some disease process, even some in update about COVID-19. We had Dr. Manas Mandal at one point to give us an update on Omicron. And this January, we're focusing on your mental health. We have a very special guest tonight. I'm actually just met her tonight. This is our first time to have this conversation, and I'm so excited that she was born and raised in Hawaii. So she's going to tell us more about herself, and I wanted to welcome you, Patrice Tanaka. Welcome, Patrice, to Healthy Mondays.
Aloha. Thank you for having me, Mary.
So I want to thank Jerry Dumal from the Healthy Mondays campaign for introducing us. And I did watch your interview with Hawaii Boss podcast, and also kind of learned about your consultancy, Joyful Planet. So would you like to share with our listeners out there a little bit about yourself, what you'd like for them to know about you?
Sure. Thank you very much. Well, as you said, I'm born and raised in Hawaii, and I try to live my life with the Aloha spirit here in New York City, where I've been living for many years, longer than I actually lived in Hawaii, where I was born and raised. I moved to New York in my early 20s and have been living here happily ever since. Over my career, I co-founded 3 award-winning PR and marketing agencies, and 6 years ago now, started a consultancy called Joyful Planet, which is focused on life purpose and organizational purpose. So my focus is on helping individuals and organizations discover and actively live or operationalize their purpose to unleash greater success, fulfillment, and joy in their personal lives, in their workplaces, and in their communities. And I'm really excited to be on Healthy Mondays because, as you probably know, living a purposeful life is foundational to health and wellness. In fact, there's a lot of research showing that people who have a purpose in life tend to live longer and have healthier relationships. They're also less likely to develop sleep problems, have a heart attack, or die prematurely. So there are a lot of health reasons for why we should all, live very purposefully and have a strong purpose in life.
Yes, and you said it so well said about having a purpose in life, because we have something to look forward to, and I think there's no place for getting depressed about something, because there's always something to look forward to because you have a purpose. And I really like the word operationalize. I wanted you to expand on that, and maybe some of our listeners would kind of learn about how do you operationalize your purpose.
Right. Well, a lot of organizations today, and this is a recent phenomenon, are communicating their business purpose. And a business purpose communicates how a company or an organization creates value for all stakeholders and serves the greater good. So a lot of companies like Microsoft, for example, their business purpose is to empower every person and every organization to achieve more. That is their stated business purpose. So if you have a business purpose like that, you need to operationalize it. Otherwise, it's just words on a piece of paper. And one of the things that so impresses me about what Satya Nadella, who is the CEO of Microsoft, has been talking about, and he's really one of the only CEOs in corporate America who's addressing this. I think that it's important for organizations to be purpose driven and to serve the community at large and contribute to the greater good. But Nadella is also inviting his employees to live their life purpose through the vehicle of Microsoft. So they can say, I don't work for Microsoft, Microsoft works for me. And if you think about it, he's really brilliant in trying to unleash the passion and the purpose of every single Microsoft employee, which will really drive the business of Microsoft forward, right? It's a huge unleash of individual purpose and power through the vehicle of the company. So it really is a brilliant move on his part. And it is, I think, the next level, the next generation, beyond just being a purpose-driven business. It's having a purpose-driven business that's driven by purpose-driven employees. So, yeah, I am a big supporter of organizations being more purpose-driven and contributing to the greater good.
Yes, I like that, contributing to the greater good. And I kind of picked up some of the concept that you talk about. I think it's important to change the mind and the mentality of your followers, because we're talking about, you kind of dive right into the leadership concepts about having your followers or your employees think about that they are the one uh, who is doing the work, and so therefore the company works for them, because if not without for them, the company will cease, or there's no viability or
Right,
sustainability of the company, right? And I really
correct.
like that, purpose driven, because I'm very strong in my faith. And there was, I think it's Rick Warren, I forgot his name, but he has a
Yes,
book. This is a best-selling book called Purpose Driven Life. And I
yes,
think, that concept surrounding that, and I think that, with that concept, people will have that yearning and motivation to have a purpose in life, not just go about with every day, wake up, I have to go to work, then come back home, and then wake up again. That's not really a purpose, right? A purpose is something like, okay, today I'm going to greet someone and smile and make this someone happy today.
yeah,
That is a great purpose.
yeah.
And I think I wanted to, can you expand more about your consultancy and exactly, um, I guess I wanted to know why you call it Joyful Planet.
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Well, one, I love that name. My own individual life purpose is to choose joy in my life every day, to be mindful of that joy, and to share that joy with others. And I came up with this life purpose in 2002. So it's not surprising to me that 13 years later, I started a consultancy called Joyful Planet. And Joyful Planet is the name of my consultancy. And it's also my vision for our planet if 7.9 billion people are actively living their purpose and leveraging their talents, their expertise, and their passion in service of other people and our planet. If everyone were doing that, or if more of our 7.9 billion people are doing that, together we can create a more joyful planet. And so that's what Joyful Planet is about. And so my work with individuals is really helping them to discover and articulate so they can begin to actively live their life purpose. And I should say that a life purpose is about as I said a minute ago, how we will leverage our talents, our expertise, and our passion in service of other people and our planet. So sometimes people get confused when they hear life purpose. They immediately think it's about their job. Um, and a life purpose really overarches your entire life, and it's about how you live your life. And living your life through your job is just one aspect of your life, but it's not the total way that you live your life purpose.
It may
So
be a
if you
big
are
chunk,
living your
yeah.
life purpose in every area of your life, then that should unleash a lot of success and fulfillment and joy for you.
And it is, we it is true that work is a big chunk of your part of your day, but it doesn't have
Yes.
to be the big chunk of what you enjoy. And I think it caught my attention when you share about that you need to have a purpose to have a joyful life. And
Yes.
to me, it is really in sharing your joy
Yes.
that you have more joy. I think,
Yes.
and they say that it is in giving that you receive, and it is in
Yes.
giving that you
Exactly.
really have this fulfillment, right? So
Yes.
yeah, so um, I'm trying to get more thought about joy is only a three-letter word, but it's so powerful.
It is.
Yes. So and it's free when you give joy to someone. It's not necessarily would cost money. When you greet someone and say, "Oh, that's a lovely dress that you're wearing," and that brings joy to the person that you are complimenting, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that if you're coming from a place of joy yourself, then you will radiate and share that energy, that positive energy of joy. But if you are coming from the opposite place of unjoy, that is the energy that you're sharing as well. So I think it's almost kind of a public service for us to each be responsible for, creating joy in our own lives. So that can be what we share with others.
and I think that when I think about joy, it's like I envision like it's shining, it's bright. So you know how they say shine your light, share your light, and it
Mhm.
could be joy and light. So there, our conversation is so abstract, and the philosophy of what you were saying about work and changing the attitudes and behaviors of the workers, and it's so true to life. And I think that this episode hopefully will bring uh, motivation and start having our listeners to think about what is your passion in life, what are you very passionate about, and then
Right.
what you were saying, then operationalize that passion, which means you have to purpose for that passion. And if your passion and your purpose doesn't pan out, do not give up. Persevere. Keep going. Maybe it doesn't work today, but try again tomorrow, and maybe tomorrow is the day that it's going to work for you. So that's why when we have an orientation for our nursing program, and next week on the 26th of next week, of this week, we're going to have a new cohort coming in for our school, and usually I would share with them the three P's, and that's not really the three P's that is for hypoglycemia or hyperglycemia. Those who are medically knowledgeable, you have your polyphagia, and I think the three P's that I'm talking about is passion, purpose, and perseverance. And I'm so excited when Cherry told me about you, and I looked up all the information about you. I said, "Wow, we have the same outlook. We have the same philosophy in life." And I think this would be great to share to our listeners out there, that joy that we share, that we can share to others.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about other community initiative that you have going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the work that I do is I believe that if we discover and actively live our purpose, it is something that will focus and drive us to accomplish what we say matters most, right? So, having the focus and drive of your own purpose is a competitive advantage because you'll be able to accomplish what is most important to you in a highly efficient way. So I want to give this competitive advantage to sometimes marginalized groups. Okay, so I'm talking about women, I'm talking about girls, I'm talking about young people of color, I'm talking about any group that could benefit from knowing their life purpose and being self driven by that purpose to accomplish that. So, a lot of the work that I do that is really so gratifying. I just finished a project for the Center for Asian Pacific American Women, and they brought together a multicultural cohort of 25 young women leaders, emerging women leaders. They're African Americans, they're Latinas, they're Native Americans, they're Asian Americans, and Pacific Islanders. And they brought together these 25 young women, all of whom are committed to increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion, in society. And so they're all participating in, I think it's a 9-month long leadership development program to make them more, to equip them more strongly to accomplish, this goal of increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I worked with all 25 women to help them discover and articulate their life purpose so they can be self-driven with the knowledge of their own individual life purpose and live that purpose fully um, through their work and their life. And so I love doing that because I know that the knowledge, the clarity about their life purpose and how they're going to be living their life is going to inform every decision they make going forward. And our future and our success is determined by the decisions that we make, right? Every single day, because cumulatively and collectively, they result in producing your future and the future that you want to create for yourself. So I'm very excited about that. I'm actually going to be working with another AAPI cohort. I think we're going to start working in April, and another 25 women. They're all Asian American and Pacific Islanders women coming together, and this is another program that CAPA, the Center for Asian Pacific American Women, has 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 organized this APALI leadership development program. And it's a year-long virtual. It's women across the country who are participating. So I'm going to work with each of those 25 young AAPI women leaders as well to equip them with clarity about their life and leadership purpose so they can be even more successful and enjoy a more fulfilling and joyful life, because there should be joy if you're doing exactly what it is that's most important for you to do, and by doing that you are contributing to the community at large. I mean, that has got to be a gratifying and fulfilling and joyful life.
I have this big smile on my face because you're reminding me of my mentor, Dr. Jillian Inoue from University of Hawaii at Manoa. She was my chair for my committee for my dissertation for my doctoral program, and she's always all through the program she would say, Mary Faye, focus, focus, focus. I know you're so passionate about this, and I know that you have a purpose, and I know you will persevere, but you need to focus, focus, focus. And yeah, she's been mentoring me academically, personally, professionally, and we just need someone like her and you to focus our younger generation and the generation that are going to be our future. And it's so accurate when you say that every decision we make for ourselves is will contribute to the future, because every decision that you make, you decide on this job, is that going to sustain you and your family, and is it going to be part of your professional development? And so the decision you make in choosing this employer when you're going for an interview versus this one is going to line up with what is going to be your future. So it's so and I wanted to also share about my experience with mentoring with research. My students at Uganda Christian University, I was thinking about them, about how do I guide them with their theses or their research topic. And what I did was, the first year that I was there as a Fulbright specialist, I took them on a tour to an orphanage, which is about an hour, a couple hours bus ride. And I told them, look around you, look at your community, what it is that you see that you're passionate about that needs to be improved. And go with that passion and see what you can help out there in the community, and that would be your research topic. And I think that it opened their eyes to think about what are they really passionate about, what
Yes.
it is that they want to make a difference. I think, you're passionate about something because you want to do something about it. And I think,
Yes.
yeah, and I think when you start with that passion burning in your heart, and a higher being had put that desire in your heart. And so when you work with that passion, you can never go wrong. You always have something to work with, because it's right here. You're passionate about it. It's not going to
Yes.
die, right?
I
So,
totally agree. Yes.
yes.
And that's why I say to people, even if you don't know your purpose, follow your passion, because if you do, it will often lead you to your purpose. Usually people don't want to follow their passion because they think that it's unrealistic to follow my passion, and they do something that seems to them more practical. Well, it's really only in following your passion that you're going to do your greatest work, and you're going to enjoy your greatest successes. If you do something that's not your passion, you may do good work, but I don't think you're going to do great work.
You're going to
So,
get burned out.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it's taking all of your energy just to do something that you're not really, that passionate about. No, if you want to succeed wildly, you need to follow your passion.
When you said wildly, I'm thinking about, think out of the box. Don't confine yourself with this, and then you're passionate about this, and you're thinking, don't restrict yourself with something you think that's impossible. That's
Right.
one thing
Yes.
that I always tell um, people who that I feel that they're about to give up. I said, with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
I
Yes.
always include my faith in her, um,
Yeah.
because I can witness about the good things that's happening to me, that is really something that would just happen if I didn't believe in what I believe. And when I look back, I said, "Wow, that is what it meant." And I always say, I don't know why I finished, my PhD. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know why God had allowed me to finish it with all of the challenges that I have in my life. And when it was time for me to operationalize that accomplishment, and then it came to me that I was being prepared for something. I was, the skills. I'm being equipped for something
Yes.
that was planned ahead, the future. So I don't know, with your consultancy. Your consultancy seems like it's for a group of people, and I'm thinking about you and our AApina of Nevada. We have a lot of women. We have a lot of I guess for our nursing students, a
Mhm.
lot of our leadership some of our leadership are male students, but majority of them are female students. And I was
Mhm.
thinking, we're gonna tap into you and see, what we can partner with. And I'm just so excited to get to know you more tonight. So,
Thank you. Yeah, that sounds
yes.
great. I love working with organizations. And usually, what I do is I will give a webinar to all of the members of an organization or employees of an organization. And then following that hour-long webinar, then I work one-on-one with all of those people who are interested in taking the next step of working with me to discover and articulate and finalize their life purpose. Because when you have a final life purpose, and I teach you how to really live that purpose and exemplify that, that's when you start to accomplish, what is most important for you to do. And I say to people, the first step is finalizing your life purpose, but then you need to use that almost like an affirmation, recite it to yourself every day, and do something every day to actually live your purpose. Because the more of these acts that you do every single day, the cumulative effect of living your purpose and making it come to life is how you accomplish what is most important for you to accomplish. So, I feel that having a purpose is like being inner directed, inner driven, rather than being, influenced by everyone and everything around us, because you're the only one that knows best what it is that you should be doing with your one very brief and precious life, right? You shouldn't be doing what somebody else tells you you should be doing, because they're not you. So you need to be inner directed to accomplish what you feel is most important for you to do, and the best way that you contribute to other people and our planet.
And you're the doer. And I like it. People can tell you, oh, this is what you need to do, Mary Faye, or this is how you do it. But you're the doer. No matter what they say, you're the one who's gonna take action. And I think,
Right,
as you were talking about, for as far as the counseling aspect, um, you think about your passion. You're thinking and thinking, and you're believing that passion, but you're not taking action. So,
right,
and a lot of times, when you think about this passion, this is what I wanted to do. I really love doing this. But then you're not changing your behavior about it.
right. Yeah,
So it comes into a succession of a process. Like, you think about it, this is my passion, but you're not making any changes in how you can
right.
operationalize that passion.
Right. You
And
have to take action. Otherwise, they're
yes,
just words on a piece of paper. And
correct.
that's not going to focus and drive you if you're just reading words on a piece of paper.
Yes, and I'm going to share this when I was still in undergrad for nursing. And I was a self supporting nursing student. And of course, I have to have my loan, right? Student loan. And in the packet of the student loan is a cartoon of a graduate with a graduation cap. And so I took a copy of that, put it in a frame. But before I put it in a frame, I put in my name, Mary Faye, and my maiden name, Mary Faye Celebre Axon, RNBSN. And then I put it in a frame, and every time that I'm having a hard time uh, grabbing the concepts of the nursing, studying late at night, and I would look at it and I said, that's my goal, and that's my passion, and I'm going to do it. So every time that I look at it, I said, like, okay, that's what I'm gonna do, and that's what I'm gonna be. So I always share this story because you have to have something to look at and say, okay, this is my passion and my purpose, and I'm going to persevere. I'm going to get that degree, and then looking back, I said, I didn't stop right there. I kept going. I kept making myself better, and not only making myself better, but also looking at ways how can I influence the people around me to also be better and better. And I think that's why this career of mine as a nurse educator is really something that was really planned. I just want to be a preschool teacher, and here I am. It's
Yeah,
yeah. So
right.
I think
No, I totally believe in passion, purpose, and perseverance. And probably the most important one of these is perseverance, because you can have passion and you can have a well articulated purpose, and you can do something to try to live your purpose. But perseverance is what allows you to finally accomplish what it is that you set out to do. And I use this example of one of our former clients was James Dyson, the inventor of the Dyson vacuum, right? We did the launch of Dyson vacuums in America when I had my PR agency. And Dyson didn't just come up with this innovation and boom, it's a success, right? He had 5,127 failures, prototypes that failed until he finally came up with the winning prototype that became the DC07 vacuum, the first Dyson vacuum, the first bagless vacuum that didn't lose suction over time. So if Dyson was brilliant, but if he hadn't persevered, all of his passion and purpose to create this first bagless vacuum would have been for naught had he not persevered. So that is probably the most important of the three P's.
I love hearing stories, success stories like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, our listeners out there, do not give up. Find that passion, and eventually, as Patrice was saying, that passion will eventually lead you to your purpose. And don't stop right there, and keep going until it comes into fruition. And don't stop with one accomplishment. Keep going, because that passion can go a lot, and it can help a lot of, not only yourself but the people around you. And wow, that time flies when we're having fun. That's my cue. Do you have any words of wisdom to our listeners out there, Joy? Patrice, I like calling you Joy because you look like a joy.
Oh, I'll take that. I love that word too.
Yes.
And my favorite definition of joy is that joy is the experience of the preciousness of life, right? If you are present in every moment of your life, the good and the bad moments, that is where joy resides, right? Just being fully present in every moment of your life. Um,
And it,
I
it,
just,
it is one of the fruits of the spirit. And guess what? My daughter's name is Joy Marie.
oh, yeah,
And
you love that word
yes,
too. Yes,
and
yes.
she was born around Easter,
Yeah.
so in
Well, I
March.
always also think that, and a chapter in one of the books that I wrote is called Live Your Life's Purpose and Unleash Your Joy, because joy is a byproduct, I believe, of of discovering and actively living your purpose and leveraging your talents, your expertise, and your passion in service of other people and our planet. And if we can live that way, then joy is what we will create for ourselves.
Wow, uh, we can't have too much joy. So joy, 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 joy to the world. I think that song is kind of so fitting. Wow. So we need to have another episode, Patrice, talking about joy and your consultancy, Joyful Planet. And I'm so happy to hear all your stories. I'm so proud of you that you are reaching out to a lot of people, especially the diverse group that you have, especially women. And you talk about marginalized population or group. Those are the group that we really need to reach out and
Yes.
give and bring out the joy in them, right? To
Yeah.
have their purpose in life, and also have the focus. You were talking about that you were doing a webinar with them as a group, and then you're meeting them one on one. We are to bring up each other, to lift up each other, and you are living that, Patrice. You're lifting up a lot of people with your philosophy, and with your company, with your consultancy. And I'm really glad that we got to connect tonight.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you to Cherry DeMowell.
yes, thank you,
Another
Cherry.
beautiful AAPI sister. Thank you,
Yes.
Jerry.
And I
Yes.
know we're gonna tap into you. Maybe you can do an in-service for our nursing students and
Sure.
motivate
I'd love
them
to.
and invoke joy in them. So
Unleash their
unleash
joy.
their
Yeah.
joy. Yes. So thank you very much, Patrice. Also, we want to thank PHLV Radio, Johan and Flora, for giving us this platform on behalf of Asian American Pacific Islander Nurse of Association of Nevada. Thank you so much. And I wish we could talk longer. We're not done yet. So,
Well, mahalo and aloha. I appreciate this opportunity to uh, meet up with another gal from Hawaii and to speak to all of your listeners.
so
Thank you.
mahalo. Until we meet again, and remember,
Yes.
our listeners out there, remember, every Monday is a healthy Monday. Aloha.
Aloha.
The Asian American Pacific Islander Nurses Association of Nevada has just brought you Healthy Mondays with AApina of Nevada.